ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणीं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So once again, welcome everyone. Our Tuesday evening class for Nectar of Instruction. So last time we were discussing verse number 7, Nectar of Instruction, text number 7. Anybody remember what was text number 7 specifically focusing on?
I think Prabhuji Bhakti most of the time, but
but what was the
diseased condition, and chanting is a remedy to remove the disease, and we are not able to get the taste due to the diseased condition right now as we are chanting.
Okay, very good. So text number 7, it describes the holy name of the Lord are nectarian, right? They are very sweet. Even though the holy name is sweet, still we are somehow not able to relish that nectar, that sweetness of the holy name. Why? Because of our diseased condition. And what is that disease? That is ignorance. So we are not able to relish. So what is the remedy? What is the cure for our diseased condition? So it says cure is also the holy name itself. Even though right now we are not able to relish the sweetness of the holy name, but still chanting is the cure for that. If we keep chanting, slowly our taste for chanting will awaken. Just like the jaundice, when somebody is suffering with jaundice, he is not able to taste the sweetness of the sugar candy or the sweetness of the sugarcane juice. But the remedy still is drinking that sugarcane juice. And slowly, slowly the taste revives again. So same way for chanting, we need to continue chanting. And why we are not able to relish the chanting, or why our chanting goes up and down, right? Why we keep going back and forth in our chanting, in our determination, in our enthusiasm. Why it does not stay steady? The reason is because in the process of chanting, if we are committing offenses, that becomes like the roadblock. So whenever our chanting is suffering, either we are not able to complete our chanting, or there is no taste for chanting, there is no desire for chanting, we should immediately introspect. Is there something I am doing wrong? Is there some offenses I have committed knowingly or unknowingly, because of which maybe my chanting is suffering? And we talked about the difference in sin and offense. Out of sin and offense, which is more critical, more dangerous for our progress in bhakti? So this ignorance is basically the root cause of sins, right? Because of our offenses, or sorry, because of the sins, there is suffering in life. So example to understand the comparison between sin and offense, it's very simple example to understand very clearly. Just imagine you are driving in a car and it's a rainy weather, right? So you're driving in the car because of the rain. The rain is falling on your front glass, right? The car glass. So it's hard to see on the road. So your speed may slow down. Even though you are using the wipers, as the wipers are moving left and right, they are cleaning that water falling on the glass, but it will still slow down our speed. That is like the offenses. Right, the offenses is compared with the rain falling, which can slow down our speed, which can slow down our progress in bhakti. And the moving of this viper is like the chanting of the holy name. Still, if we continue to chant the holy name, the effect of the sins will be removed. But now consider another scenario. You are driving on a road at a 50 mile per hour, 60 mile per hour, where there is somebody else coming. He is trying to cut off you, right? He is trying to take over in front of you and try to come in front of you in the lane and try to bump into you, or you try to hit into somebody, you try to bump into somebody, you try to take over somebody. So in that way, what is happening, if somebody all of a sudden comes in front of you, what will happen? You will brake on your car, right? So you can avoid hitting into somebody. So it's not slowing down, but it's completely putting a brake. It's completely stopping your car. So this trying to take over in front of somebody, trying to hit into somebody, bump into somebody, those are like the offenses. So offenses not just slow down our process, our progress in bhakti, but they can completely stop our progress in bhakti. They can choke our progress in bhakti. That's why we need to introspect in our routine life. Is there something I'm doing knowingly, unknowingly, which may be causing my distaste in the holy name? So offenses are more dangerous in spiritual life. That's why we say aparadha, radha and aparadha. Right? Radha is somebody, Radharani, who brings us closer to Krishna. Aparadha means we are turning away from Radharani. So our progress towards Krishna is completely choked. Now the next verse of Nectar of Instruction, text number 8, is kind of the essence of Nectar of Instruction. So we'll read that verse and discuss on that one. Let me share my screen. So Nectar of Instruction, text number 8. Tannama rupa charitadi sukirtananu smrtyo kramanena rasana manasi niyojyah tishtan vraje tad anuragi jananuragi kalam naed akhilam iti upadeshasaram. So iti upadeshasaram. In this verse itself, it says this is the kind of summary, sar of Nectar of Instruction. Tan nama rupa charitadi sukirtananu. So translation says the essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vraja, Gloka Vrindavan Dham, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service. So this is a very wonderful verse. Many instructions are packed inside this one verse actually. So it says the essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in doing what? Tan Nam Roop Charit Adi Sukirtananu, chanting the holy name, remembering Lord's form, qualities, pastimes. So thereby engaging Rasna Manasi Niyojya, Rasna and Manasi. Rasna means our tongue and Manasi is mind. So engaging our tongue and mind continuously in that way. So This is a very, very important verse. Our mind. So this Nectar of Instruction, this verse says, constantly engaging our mind and tongue in service of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada has created a wonderful process, right? This whole ISKCON movement. How does it engage? It gives us the opportunity to constantly engage us in that way, from morning till evening, to in so many various activities, starting from morning Mangalarati, chanting of the holy name, doing various services, hearing Bhagavatam classes, reading books. So in that way, constantly engaging. In that way, Prabhupada has given the system to constantly engage us in remembering Krishna. So Prabhupada has implemented this through ISKCON, this particular instruction of Rupa Goswami. And it says we have to train the mind. And we need to understand why to train the mind and how to train the mind. Right? That is very important. First of all, why to train the mind? Because mind, in current situation, mind is not our friend. Mind is our enemy. So purpose of this Hare Krishna movement is, in one sense, is to train the mind. Now one may say, oh, it doesn't come into the 7 purpose of ISKCON. When we talk about the 7 purpose of ISKCON, there it does not directly say that one of the purpose is to train the mind. But that is the primary focus. Primary focus of ISKCON is not doing any humanitarian work, right? To feed to the poor or do this or that. The primary focus is to train the mind, to train people how to control their mind. The purpose of yoga is to train the mind and connect the living entities, connect the souls to Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, so many places, Krishna says that we need to control our mind. In 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, for somebody who has controlled the mind, mind is the best friend. But for others, if mind is remain uncontrolled, mind is the worst enemy. So mind is our friend also, or mind is our enemy also, depending on if we have controlled the mind or mind is uncontrolled. If we have controlled the mind or mind is controlling us. In Bhagavad Gita 7.1, in that Krishna says, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with your mind attached to me, then you can know me in full, free from any doubts. Right? So we need to control the mind, and in that way, then we can understand Krishna. So controlling the mind is very important. That is the point why we need to control the mind. Mind can be friend also or enemy also. We have to train the mind to make it our friend. Sometimes you may have heard people say, oh, I have a lot of demons who are tormenting me. So what are those demons who are tormenting us? It's basically our mind and the anarthas which are affecting the mind. Isn't it? Because mind has so many impressions stored inside from so many lifetimes. Mind has the impressions of enjoyment also. Mind has the impression of fear also. So all these various emotions which are stored inside the mind. So because of all these impressions of enjoyment that, oh, previously I have enjoyed in this way or that way. So because of those impressions, the temptations, they keep coming back to us. Oh, earlier you enjoyed in that way, so now also you should try. Or earlier you were not able to enjoy this way, so you should now try something else to enjoy. So the mind keep proposing us various thoughts, various ideas how to enjoy. So it keep giving us different temptation. And temptation can overpower in 2 ways. Temptation can come from internally, as well as temptation can come from external objects. And these desires to enjoy these various impressions, they can create sometimes very dangerous situation also, right? As Arjuna is asking to Krishna, what is that something because of which somebody is forced to act sinfully, right? Arjuna is asking this question that sometimes it appears that you are not willing to do something, but it appears as if you are forced to act sinful way. So these temptations, these different deep desires to enjoy can create very dangerous situations sometimes. And because of these temptations, because of these thoughts of enjoyment, if our mind is always constantly engaged in these various ideas of enjoyment and the sense object, what will happen at the time of death? Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text number 5 and 6, these two very wonderful verses. Krishna says, at the time of death, we get the new body according to what you are remembering. The law of last thought. Whatever is our last thought, based on that, one will get a new body. Antakale cha mameva smrn muktva kalevaram. But if somebody gives up his body thinking of me only, then he will attain to me. Otherwise, what happens? Yam yam vapi smrn bhavam tejate ante kalevaram tam tam eveti konteya sadatad bhava bhavita. Otherwise, whatever one remembers at the time of death, that state they will attain. If somebody is thinking of going to a particular place, enjoying in a particular way, they may be born in that particular situation at that particular place. If somebody is remembering their cats and dog, they may be born as a cat or dog. So whatever one remembers at the time of death, that's the state one will attain. But if we train our mind to always think of Krishna, always remember Krishna, then we will go back to Krishna. So thinking of Krishna at the time of death, for that we have to train the mind. For that we need full conviction and commitment. Mind can always distract us. Mind can act in as our enemy, inimical way in 4 different ways. How does mind act actually? So we need to look at our mind before we look with the mind. Most of the time, what mistake we are doing is we are trying to observe the world. We are trying to observe other people's behavior based on our mind, right? What our mind is proposing. Our mind may be constantly telling, oh, this person is your friend or this person is your enemy. Mind is proposing all these various thoughts based on certain impressions. So we need to look at our mind before we start to look with the mind. And how does the mind bewilder us? In 4 different ways. So M-I-N-D, mind. Let's see what this mind stand for. M means it magnifies the problem. If we keep thinking about certain problem, it appears that problem has become even bigger and bigger and bigger. जैसे बोलते हैं राई का पहाड़ बना देना. So mind magnifies the problem. It just keep proposing, oh, this is such a big problem, you need to solve this problem. Oh, chota sa cheez hai. But mind will keep proposing like that, oh, it's such a huge problem. Until you solve this problem, your life is not going to move forward. A small thing breaks down at your home. Mind will propose, oh, until this thing is resolved, your life is stuck. Some door handle knob has broke down, or some fridge light has fused off or something. It appears like, oh, it's such a big problem. So mind makes the problem, it magnifies the problem. And if we keep overthinking about one problem, what does it do? Does it solve the problem if you keep thinking and thinking and thinking about the problem? It's just like overcooking, right? If some vegetable is rotten or some vegetable it's stale, does overcooking is going to make that rotten vegetable better, the stale vegetable better? So overthinking is like that also. So don't be problem conscious, but be Krishna conscious. Don't tell Krishna how big our problem is. Tell the problem how big Krishna is. Right? So don't think, oh, this problem is so big, so big, so big. Just like in the case of Pralambasura, when Pralambasura came as a disguised as a boy and he wanted to take Balramji into the forest. So Balramji was sitting on his shoulder and he started running towards different direction. And at one point of time, Balram thought, oh, what is this? This is a demon. And this demon was growing bigger and bigger because Balram, in one instance, he got that little fear. But then inside the heart, Krishna inspired, this demon is nothing in front of you. And as Balramji awakened that consciousness, this demon became smaller and smaller and smaller actually. But if we keep thinking about the problem, then the problem appears to be so big. So don't tell Krishna how big the problem is, but tell the problem how big Krishna is. So mind's task is it will try to magnify the problem. Don't become problem conscious. Second thing what mind does is, how mind try to bewilder us is, I means imagines the pleasures. Our mind is always going into a fantasy land. So much time and energy actually people spend in daydreaming. Right? Sitting on their sofa, sitting on their easy chair, and just thinking and thinking and thinking, if this happened that way, then I will enjoy this way, or if I'm able to do this task, then I will enjoy this way. So just keep going in daydreaming, just thinking and thinking and thinking, but not acting on that. So sometimes the thoughts are simply just wasting our time. Those are waste thoughts. But sometimes the thoughts may be actually sinful thoughts. Right? Those thoughts itself are provoking to break the four regulative principles. So waste thoughts are simply just wasting our time and energy, but sinful thought may can contaminate us. That is like the difference in having a vision versus daydreaming. Sometimes people may think, I want to do big task. I want to accomplish this or that. And they say, oh, this is my vision. But is this really a vision, or it is simply daydreaming? Because vision means if you have that vision, then you are not lazy, just sitting on your easy chair and thinking. Then you want to act on that. For example, Prabhupada also had a vision. At one point of time, when somebody approached Prabhupada that, okay, what do you do? Prabhupada said, we have a big organization. We have hundreds of temple and thousands of followers. And this person said, so where are those temples? Prabhupada said, time is separating me from them. So it was vision of Prabhupada that I am going to accomplish that. But it was not simply a daydreaming that, oh, he is just dreaming about that, what kash aisa ho jaye. But Prabhupada worked towards that. So our vision should be clear and we should be acting on that vision. So my vision may be that, okay, I want to progress in spiritual life in this particular way. I want to engage in this particular way. I want to daily basis do these activities. So not just simply daydreaming, but acting on that. Right? So if we simply daydreaming, that is wasting our time. That's just kind of imagining the pleasures. So if we have that fantasy about something, but we don't get it, then what happened? Then you become irritated, you become de-energized. Oh, I really want to get this, but I could not get this. Then it is demotivating. So we don't have to become kind of a cheerleader for our mind, kind of cheering every thought of our mind. Yes, yes, yes. It will be very nice if I get that. So don't become a cheerleader for the mind. Just think with a clear intelligence what mind is really proposing. We have to be controller of our mind. So First thing was mind is magnifying the problem. Second thing is mind imagines the pleasures. Third thing, N is it neglects the opportunities. How it neglects the opportunities? We should be utilizing the time in hand. Stay in the present. But what does mind do? Either it is trying to take us in the past or in the future. But we need to know present is all that I have. Past has gone and future is not sure, right? We cannot do anything about past and there is no certainty about the future. All I have is this opportunity in the present moment, but mind neglects that opportunity. Mind neglects that time in hand and try to go in past and future. So every moment is important. We need to understand that every moment is important. Every present moment we have is the opportunity to become Krishna conscious. Focus on the present opportunity. Right now, my opportunity is to attend the class, hear the class. That is my opportunity right now. But what happened? Mind parallelly is telling, oh, maybe you can do something else also parallelly. You can keep hearing while doing some other thing also. You can surf the internet maybe a little bit, or you can plan for your tomorrow's activity also parallelly. So mind is proposing so many different thoughts. Oh, what is big deal in hearing? You can do multitasking. You can keep hearing also, keep doing something else also. So mind does not focus on the present opportunity. When we sit down for chanting, at that time, that job is to focus on chanting, but the mind will keep proposing so many different things. After you finish chanting, you need to do this thing, you need to do that thing, you need to plan for your routine, next day activities. So while chanting, we need to focus on chanting. While hearing, we need to focus on hearing. Mind does not allow us to do the things which we can do. So when we are chanting, we should think, I'm not sure if I will do all my 16 round attentively, but at least I can try to chant this mantra attentively. So let me chant this mantra. One mantra is done. Now when you are at the next mantra, let me chant this one mantra attentively. Like that, we should try. Just focus on that task on hand. But mind always try to neglect the opportunity. It is giving you the lamentation about the past or fear about the future. So when your chanting 16 round is done, then the mind will propose lamentation. Oh, today's chanting was not good. I was so distracted and all that. But who asked you to get distracted? That the mind was proposing that. And when we are sitting in the class, then mind is going in so many different things. And at the end, I think, oh, what do I really understood from the class? How much do I really remember from the class? Do I remember even 10% what I heard? So we are neglecting that opportunity. And then the D stands for it denies the realities. What reality is the mind denying? Mind refuses to accept that problem is in itself. Problem is in the mind. I am suffering, and Krishna consciousness can remove all my suffering, but rather we blame on Krishna. Oh, Krishna is not helping me to come out of this situation. Oh, chanting doesn't work. So we need to understand Krishna loves us, but mind denies that reality. Krishna is always there to safeguard us. Mind denies that reality. Bhakti is topmost process. Chanting is the most important task. Mind denies that reality. Nobody is so fallen in this world that bhakti cannot change that person, and mind denies that reality. So mind is proposing always based on this ego. Sometimes the thought will come, oh, I am too good, or sometimes the thought will come, oh, I am such a fallen. Both are actually because of ego, right? If somebody is thinking I am too good, that is also one type of ego. Or if somebody is thinking, oh, I am such a fallen soul, I am useless person, that's also perverted ego only. The real true ego is I am servant of Krishna. So mind is misleading us for so many lifetimes in so many ways. Mind denies that reality. Mind denies the reality that death can come at any time. Now, we don't want to talk about death just to kind of make us fearful or paranoid about that, but to raise us from that material to spiritual platform. It's not about to make somebody afraid, fearful, or somebody may claim, oh, why you guys are keep talking about death, death, death all the time. It's not about speaking about death. It is about talking about the reality of life. Right? So scripture talk about the realities of life. Krishna talk about Avanti Brahmana in 11th canto Bhagavatam when he is describing to Uddhava, this Uddhav Gita. In that he talks about this Brahmana, Avanti Brahmana. This Brahmana, at one point of time, he was telling, oh, I have so many problems. But then later on, he comes to this understanding, this realization, actually my mind is the source of all my problems. So it's not anybody else my enemy, it's my mind is who is my enemy. So the whole purpose is to train the mind. And how we train our mind? That is the process of yoga. Yoga means to make your friend, control your mind and make it into a friend. More we chant, more we hear, more we study, then more we try to rise towards goodness and Shuddha Sattva, transcendence. Then we can check the mind and it cannot mislead us. So first thing in controlling the mind is to realize, it's to recognize that yes, my mind is tricking me. Everybody, we have heard so many classes on this topic. Everybody will speak about this point. First step in controlling the mind is to recognize that yes, my mind is tricking me. My mind is diverting me to a different direction. So bring it back. So how to practice controlling the mind? That is practicing the devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. So first of all, very important point is hearing. But I will be very honest, hearing also is not easy actually. Do we have that taste for hearing? We may be thinking, yes, I am hearing the class, I am attending weekly class, but do we really have the taste for hearing? Are we attending out of our own love, out of our own interest, or we are attending because we have been forced, we have been asked so many times? That is the reason we are attending. So hearing is very important. Before anything else comes Shravanam. We talk this every time. Navda Bhakti, among Navda Bhakti, the first thing is Shravanam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. So how is Shravanam? Because medicine is also of many types. There is some medicine which can be rubbed on the skin. There is some medicine which can be swallowed, inhaled. But there is some medicine which is injected also. So Shravanam is also like a medicine which enters through the ears. See, like some medicine, if you have some deficiency, just consider vitamin D deficiency or vitamin B12 deficiency, and doctor gives you some pills, right, to take. But if while taking those pills, if your body is not able to absorb that, and that medicine does not enter into your bloodstream, so that medicine is not helping, then what does the doctor do? Then doctor says you have to be injected. That medicine has to be injected so it directly enters into your bloodstream. So same way Shravanam is like that. Shravanam is like injecting the medicine directly into your ear so that it can enter into your heart and purify the heart. So Shravanam is very, very important. And we need to develop that taste for Shravanam. We may have our different taste. Everybody is different. Everybody has different inclination. Somebody has more inclination towards chanting. Somebody has more inclination towards hearing. Somebody has more inclination towards service. So in one sense, yes, everything is good. But ultimately, what scriptures are telling again and again, Shravanam is most important, because hearing is the last sense which will leave us at the time of death also. Shravanam is the last, hearing is the last sense. Hearing is the first sense also which comes, and hearing is the last sense to go. We discussed this point, in the womb of the mother, no other senses is active yet, only hearing is active. And when somebody is on his deathbed, all other senses fail, only hearing is the one which is still active. He may not be able to see, he may not be able to move his hands, but is able to hear. So hearing is most important. And in the beginning, we may not have that taste for hearing. If, for example, just a new person comes to temple, and you introduce that person, you tell him that, okay, morning Bhagavatam class going to start, so come please sit down and hear Bhagavatam class 1 hour. So after the class is done, then we'll talk, right? Then we will talk about something else. So you make him sit in the class, and at the end of class, you come and see that person is not there, disappeared. So maybe he sat there for 5 minutes, but he did not had that taste for hearing yet, and he disappeared. He got up and moved away, left. But at the same time, in the beginning, somebody may click to little service. You engage them in some service. Oh, can you help us set up prasadam? Can you help us to move these things, these tables in the temple? So they may be engaged in that. In that way, they may stay longer in the temple. But if you put them to hearing in class for 1 hour, they may just leave 5 minutes. So in the beginning, yes, connecting with that little service is okay. But ultimately, yes, service will bring purification in the heart. And then it will may develop the taste for hearing also. But hearing is the most important activity which we need to focus, because what happens with hearing is more and more we hear, it purifies us, it develops our attraction for Krishna, and it further develops the taste for hearing and chanting. Like in the previous verse we discussed, chanting is most important, but because of our diseased condition, we are not feeling that taste in chanting. And the remedy is continuously chanting. So same thing is with hearing also. So chanting and hearing both go hand in hand. So mind is always causing the problem, but by constant hearing, we can control the mind. So this verse talk about, first of all, constantly hearing about Krishna, remembering the form of Krishna, remembering the pastimes of Krishna. And the next thing it talks about is residing in Braja, under the shelter of advanced devotees. So now, what does it mean of residing in Braja? If we are not able to physically reside in Braja, at least mentally residing in Braja. And mentally residing means our mind. Through our mind, we are thinking of Braja, the various places in Braja, or Krishna's various leelas which happen in Braja. And that also we have to do under the shelter of advanced devotees. One cannot say, oh, I am doing service, or I am doing hearing, I am doing chanting, I am doing all this devotional service. It cannot be whimsical. It has to be under the direction, under the supervision of some other advanced devotee. And if we really want to receive the instruction from somebody, there has to be a relationship. So it depends on the development of relationship with that other advanced devotee, if that person is able to guide us or not. So working under their direction without ulterior motive. There should not be some other hidden agendas that, oh, why I am serving, why I am working under the direction. In the beginning, somebody may come for some ulterior motives also, but ultimately, as we come in association of devotees, our other ulterior motives go away, and by constant hearing, one rises to that platform of Shuddha Sattva. For example, there was once a person, right? He was a thief earlier, and in Bombay jail, once he saw a magazine. In the magazine last page, he saw picture of Srila Prabhupada, and he saw this is some saintly person, and on that hand of Prabhupada was wearing a gold Rolex watch. And this thief, he got a desire, if I happen to meet this sadhu, I can try to take away this watch, I can steal away this watch. So if I go out of jail, I will try to go there and try to steal this gold watch. So, and he came out of the jail and he came to know that, oh, this Swamiji, he is in Juhu temple, and he came there, and Prabhupada was there those days. Prabhupada was living there in the Juhu temple. So one morning, Prabhupada in his quarter, he was meeting devotees. So this person walked in. So many devotees were there and everybody paid obeisances. So he also imitating, he paid obeisances. And as he got up, Prabhupada looked at him and he removed that watch and put it in the front. So you want this watch? Here, take it. Now, how did it happen? This person was shocked. As somehow Krishna in Prabhupada's heart also, he inspired Prabhupada to kind of remove the watch and give to this person. And this person was completely bewildered. How does this Swamiji know that why I have come here? Oh, he is a very self-realized soul. So at that point of time, he decided to give his life to Prabhupada. That, oh, he is such a saintly person and I want to dedicate my life to him. So he also started living in temple. He became a devotee, but his problem, what was his problem? He came to Prabhupada and told, Swamiji, you know what? I was a thief. And my routine is in the daytime, I sleep, and at night time, that's my job time. I go on work that time. But now here in temple, it's other way. Everybody is working all day and they're so busy. At night time they sleep. I cannot kind of handle that particular situation. So what should I do? So Prabhupada said, actually, I have a service for you. You are not able to sleep at night. I have a service for you. See, at 12 o'clock, after taking 2 hour rest, I got up and I do my writing. I dictate the translations and the purports for this Bhakti Vedanta purport in dictaphone. But what happens is at the night time, these dogs are barking, right? And they are disturbing a lot. So Prabhupada is speaking something, oh, Krishna is the supreme personality of the Godhead, and the dogs are barking, bho, bho, bho. And this noise of the dogs barking also come inside that recording, and the people, the devotees who are trying to transcript that dictation of Srila Prabhupada, they are having hard time understanding. So Prabhupada said, your service is you have to stay guard outside and drive away these dogs who are coming closer here. So this person, he got this service to kind of drive away these dogs all night standing there. So even he was engaged in service in that way, initially in service, and staying in the association, his ulterior motives were gone and he developed the taste in Krishna consciousness. That person is a very advanced devotee at the level of sannyasi. So ulterior motive, we need to understand, am I coming to the process of bhakti? Do I have some ulterior motives, ulterior purpose, or what is my real intention? Sometimes we may think, oh, I love doing some service or I love doing this particular thing. But do we really love that particular activity? Can we do that activity in any circumstances, any situation? Or we are attached to doing that particular activity in one particular situation? Oh, I'm comfortable doing in this way only. That's how I can do. Is my hearing, my attraction for hearing is if program happen little far away, devotee is living at a little distance and he want to organize a program at his home, are we willing to go? Or we will think, oh, today it's too far, so let me skip today, this week I will skip. So do we want to stay in our comfort zone, or we are really interested in making progress? Are we doing without any other ulterior motives? And are we interested in following the direction of our superiors who are helping us to progress in bhakti? So here this verse says, living in vraja, even if not physically, at mental level, living in vraja under the direction of advanced devotees, and then developing a mood of some particular devotee, in which particular rasa we want to have developed that relationship with Krishna. So there are 5 different type of rasa, right? Shanta rasa, Sakhya rasa, Dasya rasa, Vatsalya rasa, Madhurya rasa. So there are different type of rasa. So trying to develop one particular type of rasa and working in that particular relationship with that particular devotee. So here it describes different stages of remembrance. In the purport, Prabhupada is writing what are the different stages of remembrance of Krishna. First stage is called Shravan Dasha. Shravan Dasha means hearing. We are just hearing, but are we really accepting what we are hearing? So first stage is just Shravana, just hearing. Second stage comes Varna Dasha. Varna Dasha means then we are coming to the level of acceptance also. Oh, I'm hearing from this person. Do I really accept the words of this person? So coming to the level of acceptance is the next progress. Then coming to the stage of Smaranavastha. So Shravana Dasha, Varna Dasha, and then Smaranavastha. Smaranavastha means then remember and chant in ecstasy. And then we come to the stage of Sampati Dasha. Then our eternal relationship with Krishna is revealed. So that is kind of a very high stage, coming to that stage of Sampati Dasha, when our eternal relationship with Krishna is revealed. Who are we? What is our eternal Savrupa in spiritual world? Are we a peacock there, or a butterfly there, or a flower there? Who are we in spiritual world? So first of all, coming to this stage of Smarana Avastha, where we have constant remembrance and chanting in ecstasy, that stage itself also have 5 stages of Smarana. Yes, what are the 5 stages of Smarana? First stage is interrupted. Yes, we are remembering Krishna for some time, then that is interrupted and our mind is distracted to different things. Yes, at some particular times we are getting that remembrance of Krishna, but it's not constant, it's interrupted. That is one. Second is uninterrupted. Uninterrupted means for a longer duration of time you are having remembrance of Krishna. Then further we progress uninterrupted and concentrated. Concentrated means then the deep absorption, feeling some emotions in that, and then it becomes into meditation. It expands and become more constant and fixed. Then that is the stage of uninterrupted and unceasing, going into the level of samadhi. Samadhi means that then there is no internal distraction, no external distraction. Right? Sometimes our meditation is broken because of external distraction. Somebody is having loud noise outside, or some kids are making some noises or something, right? So it becomes distracted. Our absorption may break. That is external distraction, external interruption. And then there is internal interruption because of various thoughts proposed by the mind. So when there is no external distraction, no internal distraction, that becomes the stage of samadhi, uninterrupted and unceasing. So ultimately, one want to reach to that stage. But for that, what is the first stage? Starts from hearing, Shravana Dasha, and then accepting, Varna Dasha, and then coming to the level of Samarana Avastha. So coming to that stage, the beginning stage is hearing, and Prabhupada has given us so many wonderful opportunities. Prabhupada has created the replica of Vrindavan everywhere outside. All our temples, they are the replica of Vrindavan. If whatever activity is happening in Vrindavan, the same things are doing here. We are talking about Krishna Katha, talking about the pastimes of Krishna. So through our remembrance of Krishna, we can be transported into Vrindavan. So Vrindavan is in devotee's heart. Expanding that mood, expanding the mood of Vrindavan wherever we go. So we can remember, let's say there are some main temples of Vrindavan, right? By our Goswamis, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, they have built and developed these temples. Madan Mohan ji, Govind Dev ji, Gopinath ji, Radha Raman ji, Radha Damodar, Radha Shyam Sundar. So these are some of the very important temples. And what we are doing is, in our temple here, living outside of Vrindavan, we are remembering those places. And we may sing Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinath, Radha Gopinath Radhe. Just singing those names, chanting those names, you feel like you are remembering those places of Vrindavan, you are transported to those places. So living here, we can feel as if you are in Vrindavan. So Vrindavan is in devotee's heart, or what we can say is we need to bring Vrindavan in our heart and expanding that mood of Vrindavan wherever we go. So cultivating that right mood of bringing Krishna into our heart by following this particular essence of the Nectar of Instruction, Tan Nama Rupa Charitadim, always chanting and remembering the Lord's name, his form, qualities, pastime, thereby gradually engaging our tongue and mind 24 hours in service of Krishna. In that way, residing in Vraja and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees, not whimsically thinking that, yes, I am also doing a lot of service, lot of this thing and that, but under the direction, under the guidance of devotee, and following in the footstep of Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service. So one may think, I want to serve Krishna in the mood of Yashoda Maiya. I want to serve Krishna in the mood of Sudama, Shridama. I want to serve Krishna in the mood of Hanumanji. So one particular devotee who is serving Krishna in one particular rasa. Our mood is actually, we want to follow the process of Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means by following the process of rules and regulation. Sometimes we think, oh, I just want to do spontaneous bhakti, raganuga bhakti. To come to the level of raganuga bhakti, first we need to follow Vaidhi Bhakti. Once a devotee, one small instance came in my mind, I will just mention that. Once a devotee came to the temple president. Prabhuji, I am very much attracted by the whole temple program. I feel like I want to give up everything and join temple full time, become a brahmachari. But only one problem. The getting up 4:30 in the morning, joining in Mangalarati is very difficult. Is it possible? Can we do Mangalarati at 7:30? So it will be very easy and convenient for more people to join. So the temple president said, your thought is very nice, but for that you have to start a different movement. This is movement of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada has given us this process, that Mangalarati at 4:30. That is the process of Vaidhi Bhakti, the rules and regulation following, getting up early in the morning, taking bath, putting on nice fresh clothes and coming, attending the Mangalarati, then chanting. So it's not based on our comfort, but I feel like, oh, bhakti should come spontaneous. Why to follow this and that? To come to the level of spontaneous bhakti, first we need to start with Vaidhi Bhakti, following in the rules and regulation. Because if we take everything very cheaply, then it becomes like sahajiyas. Sahajiya means sahaj, taking everything very sahaj, cheaply. So today you are taking it cheaply, tomorrow you will not be able to do that also. Then you will think, oh, maybe it's easy to do that particular thing, so let me just do that. So our method is to follow Vedi Bhakti by following in the footstep of other devotees who have developed one particular bhava of serving Krishna. And our mood, basically whole our movement is, what we focus on is dasya rasa. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is focusing on this particular rasa, dasanudas, the servant of the servant of the servants of Krishna. So following in the footstep of the servants and servants of Krishna, like Hanumanji is in dasya rasa. So our mood is serving in dasya rasa. So following in a footstep of particular devotees and then serving in that particular way. So again, just this verse is the essence of Nectar of Instruction, as mentioned in this verse itself, Upadesha Saram. And we should try to implement this verse in our daily life and try to control our mind in that way, train our mind in that way, so we can always remember Krishna. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. If anybody has any question, any comment, please feel free.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I think mind, you said magnifying, I is imagine, right? N and D, I missed that. What is it?
N is it neglects the opportunity.
Negative thinking? Or
No, neglects the opportunity. Neglects the
not
opportunity.
neglect the opportunity.
Neglects the opportunity means it does not let us stay in the present time. Right? Present is all we have, but mind always try to take us to the past or to the future. It does not let us stay in the present. So it neglects that opportunity.
Okay, then D.
D means it denies the reality.
Say it again.
It denies the reality.
Denying the reality. You know, this is a really good psychologically. This is what mind does all the time. And Krishna is saying that in all the Manmona Bhava and all that.
Mhm.
But you are right, in chanting, the mind distracts it by doing this. Basically, I think that magnifying is a true, and then imagining, and you're always imagining other problems and all that, and you magnify it, and then all of a sudden, someday it gets solved automatically, but we just make a mountain out of a mole. And I think that psychologically, this is true. One of the interesting thing I was thinking was, just like you are saying, the solution is just keep doing it and stay under their guidance, because if you are in an Olympic, you are running in an Olympic, or you are any event you are taking, you have to have a coach. You have to
Mhm.
follow the coach. You have
Yes,
to work day and night in
any
order
small
to get there.
activity, right? Everything we need somebody's guidance. These days,
And in
people can say, "Oh,
spirituality, it's the biggest Olympic you can think of.
right,
It's
right."
Olympic of other world. And I think if you're really taking seriously what I'm thinking of is one of the toughest thing in the world when you are playing with the mind is the hardest part of the
Mhm.
game. So I think everything in real life also the same thing applies. You have to control your mind. You have to give up. And when you are doing Olympic, they're saying that you have to work like 10 hours a day to do that. And we kept on arguing that religion should be easy, but it is probably one of the most hardest part of the world. Hare
Yes.
Krishna, that's a very good.
Okay. Hare
I
Krishna.
like
Thank
the
you.
analogy.
Thank you,
Hare
Sreshma.
Krishna.
Ankita Mataji, you have a question?
जी प्रभुजी, हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, धन्य प्रणाम प्रभुजी.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, when initially Prabhuji you were mentioning about offenses and sins,
Mhm.
so it's like you said breaking your car in between. So like, can we start again, or like for the sins you said you should keep chanting, then you can continue there. For offenses, what we should be doing?
So offenses also, it's same thing. We continue with our chanting, but to nullify the effect of offenses is, that's why we chant this one mantra, right? Always, if we have committed any offense. So if we know that I have committed offense to that person, only remedy is to ask for forgiveness. In journal, we chant this mantra, Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha. So that is paying obeisances to all the devotees. In your heart, in your mind, we are praying, if I have committed any offenses knowingly or unknowingly, please forgive me. So requesting for forgiveness from the devotees, that is the only cure for offenses. That is now one particular offense that we are talking about, right? That is Vaishnava Aparadh, but there are so many other type of offenses. And the one another important is, a point to understand on offenses is inattentiveness, because that is the mother of all other offenses. Inattentiveness. Because of our inattentiveness, we commit offenses, all other type of offenses. So we need to be always attentive towards these various factors. So yes, we can, it doesn't mean that if we have committed offense that our bhakti is completely stopped. It is just like a braking the car, right? The speed breakers. But again, we can move on by continue to chant, asking for Krishna to forgive us, asking for devotees to forgive us.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Raju Prabhu, you had a question?
Yes, Prabhu. Like in the translation, it is saying that it's a full time, 24 hours a day, you need to chant. But best as Prabhupada Mercy, so we got reduced to 2 hours, so 16 rounds. But if we chant 16 rounds, so I see that the effect of that peaceful and thinking part based on the chanting, it will be up to maybe a few hours in the day. So later part of the day, again, it will be a kind of going in around somewhere. So is 16 rounds is enough, or if something we feel that if mind is going somewhere, it's not in the place in the present, then we need to chant again for some more rounds. How do you suggest?
So basically, what does it really means is absorbing ourselves in chanting, remembering the form, pastime of Krishna 24 hours a day. Some way or other, having that absorption in your mind, right? Either conscious or subconscious mind, you're always somewhere thinking of Krishna. No, it doesn't mean that, okay, I will stop doing my job, I will stop sleeping and everything, in 24 hours I'm chanting or thinking of Krishna. So what does it mean is we need to absorb in that consciousness, right? In your subconscious mind, you are conscious about Krishna. So you said in the morning after chanting for some time, the effect stays, then again the effect goes off. That's why the whole overall throughout the day, what are the different engagements? In the morning, you have chanting. Then in the daytime, you can do some listening of some lecture. You can read some books, right? Read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So in that way, throughout the day, in between little bit, if you do something during your other activities, your mind will stay on track in that way, right? In remembrance of Krishna. So devotees, what do? While working, they may put some kirtan. While doing your other household chores, you can put some kirtan or some lecture. While driving, putting some lecture, or you are kind of meditating on some shloka, try to memorize that shloka. So that shloka is just going in your mind. So in that way, you are keeping Krishna in your mind, in your heart all the time. Okay, so that's how 24-hour absorption means.
Thank you, Prabhu.
And Prabhuji, you are all, I am in Vanaprastha, so my job is easier now, but Grihasthashram is a very big thing, and as long as you keep Krishna in mind and you are helping people and doing things, it's part of your service also, right? You are supporting, when you were in a Grihastha ashram, you are supporting all three ashrams in a way. So if you do it with the devotional service and keep Krishna and helping the people, you are doing quite a great work too. You know, the Vanprasthasam is you have more time in that than anything else. So I think basically that's the right attitude in Grihastha. As long as you keep Krishna in focus and helping and working, and you are giving money and everything, supporting Krishna's causes is also part of the whole service.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anybody else has any question? Ankita Mata, you have more question or?
No, no, Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhuji. I need to lower my hand. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Then
So, okay. Then with Pranam. Okay. So thank you everyone
Hare
for
Krishna
joining
Prabhuji,
and
Pranam.
the joining for the nice discussion.
Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavat pranam.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat pranam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.